What's up, team? Welcome to the video. It has been a very long time since I uploaded. I hope you're well. I've missed you. I talk about a lot in this video. I talk about where I've been, what's been going on, talk about some interesting details on the business side of things that you might enjoy, pontificate about life, talk about why make content in general, standard philosophical ramblings that you are no stranger of if you've watched anything I've put on YouTube. And yeah, I think you're gonna like the video. It starts a little slow. I'm shaking the rust off, but it picks up, gets higher energy. It's a little longer if you wanna save it for your cardio. Great, but enjoy the video and I will see more of you soon. Bye. Okay, we're diving right in here. We got a whiteboard video, shaking the rust off, grip it and rip it. Before I talk about why I stopped posting content, it makes sense to give at least my view on why anyone posts content. Like, what's the purpose of content real quick, because I think this lays the foundation for the entire video and will make a lot more sense. Why post anything? There are really three reasons in my mind. Either because you're trying to help someone, trying to help many people. You're posting educational content, you're posting motivational content, you're posting anything where your intent is for the person watching to benefit from what you're teaching. The second reason is marketing, content marketing, right? The opportunity to ask for a sale. Giving something for free, your time, your energy, your effort, putting yourself out there for people to learn from, enjoy for free, in exchange for, one, their attention, and two, the opportunity to sell to them, right? Build goodwill, build goodwill, build goodwill, and then ask for a sale. That's another reason, content marketing. And third, that validation or ego. And whether or not someone starts posting online for the purposes of trying to get validation, like, you can start with the most pure of intent, and it's very, very, very difficult not to fall into that validation trap, not to fall into going back and checking a video, going back and checking a post, seeing how many likes, seeing how many comments, seeing watch time, seeing all of these stats about how good the thing you made is, or if you're posting a lot of yourself, how good you are, if you are tying your identity to the performance of that piece of content. I'm sure there's other reasons why people post content. I guess these are the three reasons I have posted historically, whether for better or worse. So I think that lays a decent groundwork for where did I go? Why did I stop making content? Why has it been 2.5 years since I posted on Instagram? Why has it been 1.5 years since I posted on YouTube? What have I been up to? Like, what's going on? There's two reasons why I haven't been posting content. The first is I didn't want to. And the second is I didn't have to. I got that backwards. But the first is I didn't have to. This is a one-take show. First is I didn't have to. The second is I didn't want to. We'll start here. If the primary purpose of creating content is for business, right? Rather than going to work a job and getting a salary from an employer and trading my time and my effort for that salary, instead, creating things that bring attention to myself and my brand and what I do, for then the opportunity to have coaching clients, have someone join the fitness business mentorship, have revenue opportunities, right? And from a business perspective, from a purely business perspective, I started game planning my website in 2012. I launched the website in early 2013 and started posting on Facebook, started posting on Photocracy, started posting on Instagram shortly after, started posting on YouTube, I think either late 2014 or early 2015, if I remember right, at least consistently, early 2015, and 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, very consistent, making a lot of stuff. Hopefully a lot of it was helpful, useful, valuable, and then got to a point where I started making less content. 2018 kind of drifting off, 2019 making even less, to the point where I basically just stopped. Because for the majority of my career, all of my revenue has been from one-on-one coaching clients, either in person in the gym. People pay me, I give them workouts, I help them lose fat, get stronger, build muscle, be more mobile, feel better, or online, one-on-one, online, doing the same thing. That's an unscalable revenue stream. For every additional client I take on, it requires more of my time to service that client. Whereas an example of a scalable revenue stream, selling protein powder, for example. If my customer base in a supplement company doubles overnight, my time and effort involvement as the operator of that company, of that business, doesn't double. That's an example of a scalable versus an unscalable business. The business I've been running is unscalable. And so when I got to the point where I didn't really want more one-on-one online coaching clients, it's a great problem to have. I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful for it. Creating content, leading to more coaching applications when I didn't necessarily want more coaching clients there wasn't like a marketing need for me to be making content. And we'll get into the other two a little bit as well here. The reason why I've been able to not post on Instagram for over 2 years and not post anywhere for 1.5 years, aside from the Personal Trainer podcast, the reason I've been able to do that and still maintain a essentially full, right? Like I'd call it 90% full coaching roster. I'm taking on clients who are a really good fit. If someone I used to work with one-on-one reaches out and is like, hey, I want to get started again. Do you have any room for me? I'll take that person on most of the time. The reason I've been able to continue paying the bills and making money and staying afloat, and my business has been going reasonably well, how I want it to go, for not making any content, not doing any marketing, is because I spent years building content in places that are still SEOable. Here's what I mean by that. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok are extremely hot, right? Like TikTok especially right now, the opportunity to go viral is massive. The opportunity to have a very small audience make a post that 1 million people see is a real thing that's happening to thousands of people every single day. 2 months after that person makes that piece of content, after they make that TikTok, there's no distribution on it. No one else is seeing it. There's no new eyeballs. So the time they spent making it has a lifespan for getting new attention. And remember, attention is what allows you to sell. The lifespan of the effort they put in on that post is, really on Instagram, it's like 24 to 48 hours, right? How often are you going back on someone's Instagram feed and like reading a caption from 6 months ago? Very infrequently. Whereas in the places where I started making content early on, my website, On the Regimen, and YouTube primarily, I still get thousands of new organic visitors per day from people who type into the YouTube search bar or type into Google how to track sushi macros. Why is the scale weight fluctuating? There's a bunch of articles that, even though I spent effort writing them in 2013 or 2014, here 9 years, 8 years later, are still getting 50 to 100 new eyeballs per day. So the effort that I put in 9 years ago is paying dividends today due to search engine optimization in those two places, YouTube and website specifically. SEO right now doesn't apply to Facebook, doesn't apply to TikTok, doesn't apply to Twitter. So I'm very fortunate. I stumbled into those places of content creation back then, but I've still been able to generate new attention for times when I am, if coaching starts to take a dip, I have a wait list. I have people who have been reaching out. So that's an option. And referrals are the other one. If you're offering a service and you're doing a good job and you're helping people accomplish their goals, those people are very likely to tell their friends, tell their family members, tell their coworkers, hey, I'm thinking of someone right now who has referred me clients. Hey, Daniel, how did you lose, like 45 pounds of fat in a year on his cut and build muscle over the first 6 months? And lost, full disclosure, lost a small amount of muscle later in the cut because the longer you're cutting, the harder it is to maintain lean mass. He made amazing progress. People saw his progress. He likes our working relationship and trusts me as a coach. And he told friend, insert person, like, hey, Mike's great. How am I doing this? My coach Mike is helping me. Here's his information. I don't want to make this like pure business video, but the first few years of starting an online business, online fitness business specifically, are really gritty and require an insane amount of hours, an insane amount of work, an insane amount of throwing the spaghetti at all the walls and being on all the platforms and like really seeing what works and testing what works. After a certain amount of time, and once you've built the trust of a lot of people, it becomes a lot easier. Evidenced by the fact that I stopped making content anywhere over 1.5 years ago. Okay, the other reason is I have the fitness business mentorship. I have been doing weekly podcasts, even though I haven't been posting in traditional places. This is a scalable revenue stream that I really enjoy. I enjoy doing the podcast. I enjoy doing Q&As with the group of a little over 100 coaches we have right now, helping them build their businesses. That's really fun, and that has contributed to not having a need to be posting content all over because from a content marketing side, I just didn't have to. Briefly, I'll just say, if you watch like the real heady, like me in my apartment 2018, 2019 videos I was posting, a solid percentage of them were me like self-analyzing about this and about not wanting to fall into this validation trap, this ego machine, this post to get likes, and you get feedback, and then you modify your views based on that feedback, and then you make content to try to appease those people to get better feedback, and then eventually you just start to lose who you are, you start to lose your values, you start to lose your principles, because you end up subconsciously creating something to meet the expectations and opinions of people you've never met. And when you start making stuff that, you lose your own voice, right? You lose your own voice. And so I don't have to, and I don't want to be making content for that reason. And on the education and help side, I think I did a lot from 2012 to 2018 in making free content, free resources, the Beginner's Fitness Guide, everything on my website, YouTube, Facebook, content that I hope helped people get healthier, get stronger, feel better, feel physically better, feel mentally better. And I got burnt out, and I didn't feel like I had a lot to say. I wasn't excited about making content like I was 6 years ago. And so for all of those reasons, I made less, which bleeds into didn't want to. I'm going to be a little quicker through these. Roots online versus roots in the real world. It is my opinion, in a world where metaverse is coming, in a world where VR is going to be getting better and more enjoyable, it is my opinion that it is objectively better to spend time in the real world with real people who you really know than it is to spend time online. And a mix of both, I think, is probably optimal. But if I had to pick one, I'm picking real world versus online. For several years in there, I feel like I had my roots, my base, the majority of my communication, the majority of my information consumption, the majority of my interaction, comments, DMs, emails, online. And I've shifted that to in person. I've shifted the majority of my interactions to people who I know in my real life, to spending more time with family, to more time with friends, to more time on phone calls with people who I know and trust, and less time interacting with people I don't know. And I would say that that's been good for me mentally and more enjoyable and probably better for me as a person as a whole. And that's something I think about a lot, especially in like this potential dystopian world of sitting in a bathtub all day, in a pod with your VR on, like living life but not really living, and getting your food delivered to you, and consuming more is a reason why I haven't been making as much. Another reason, and it's spending more time on Twitter, over the last couple of years, COVID stuff, political stuff, just consuming more, reading more of other people's takes. When you're consuming more, I think that's less time and less mental energy to be creating. I also, in those spurts of time when I was spending more time consuming, I didn't feel good, especially on those topics in those places, right? Like 20 minutes of TikTok before bed on a For You page that knows me better than I know myself, and I'm like laughing. There's consuming that is beneficial, that is educational, that is entertaining, that is useful, that is helpful, and there is consuming that isn't good for you. And I actually think that's a decent rule of thumb in life. How does something make you feel after you do it? Insert X food, insert Y beverage, insert A activity. If you feel better in the hours after as a result of doing it, or maybe we'll say days after, right? Like a delayed gratification as a result of doing it, or months or years after, compared to if it feels better prior to doing it and while doing it. We can go to a million things here. We can go to impulse control, we can go to porn, we can go to sugar, we can go to all of these things that like hit our short-term pleasure centers, spike dopamine, but over the long term are worse for us. But I don't remember how I got on that tangent. I find fame uninteresting. I see the path of, I see myself falling into this trap I understand that I'm susceptible to this for a number of reasons, and I didn't want to fall into that trap. So that's a reason for posting less. I don't want to be famous. I really, really, really like the article in Wired magazine from many years ago, 1,000 True Fans, which is a business model based on having a deeper relationship with, it's called 1,000 True Fans. And I think the example given in there is a band isn't selling out Madison Square Garden. They're not super famous, but they have a core audience that trusts them, that they have an actual connection with. They have 1,000 fans and they sell a $99 product once per year. Which ends up being $100,000. And if they come out with something new every single year, all 1,000 fans, because they're such true fans, are going to buy that product, and then they make a living as a result of the 1,000 true fans. I like that model, and that's why, what's the game plan going forward? Is this just a one-off video, or you're not going to hear from me for 4 years? We're going to get into that, but in thinking about creating more content, I'm very conscious about frequency. I'm very conscious about my intent behind it. I'm very conscious about not trying to blow up, not trying to get as big as possible. It's slightly arrogant to even think that I can, but I'm very conscious about not falling into this trap, wanting to do that and getting sucked into, I think of it like a vortex or a vacuum. Like I have no interest in getting sucked into that. Yeah, so fame's completely uninteresting. Was semi-falling into that feeling, didn't want it, didn't have to be posting, probably something that pushed me away from making stuff over the last couple of years. Felt like I didn't have anything to say. I talked about that a little bit in terms of education and help. I think there's two things. One, when you're consuming more, there's less desire to create, at least for me. And two, when you feel like you've said all you have to say for a period of time, I've learned that repetition is important in marketing, is important in habit formation, it is important to, just because I made a post about something in 2013 doesn't mean there aren't still people that would benefit from me talking about it in 2022. And I understand that now, but feeling like I didn't have anything new to bring to the table, anything new to share, anything helpful, anything that I was passionate about talking about. Spending time with family, chilling, more content, definitely part of it. From 2012 to 2017, I probably worked actually worked 70 hours a week as a minimum. And there were many weeks, I was working every Saturday, every Sunday, long hours, late nights, working a lot. And I've pulled back on that. As a result, I see my parents and my siblings twice a month at a minimum. From 2012 to 2017, I saw them 4 times a year, 6 times a year maybe. That feels really good. It's kind of a shift from the online world to the in-person world that I was talking about. I've enjoyed and I think has been good for me as well. And then I've been busy. Why didn't I want to make content? Because despite not making content, I'm still working a full-time job. I'm still putting in 40 hours a week, I would imagine. I haven't done that math. At least a few hours a day communicating with one-on-one coaching clients, designing training programs for one-on-one coaching clients, the personal trainer podcast we're doing weekly, mentorship, designing courses, twice a month Q&As, game planning for challenges for the mentorship, emails in general, coaching, hey Mike, you stopped making content. Does that mean you're literally not working at all? No, I'm still working a full-time job, but I'm not working like I was working before. So as a result, can we expect, Mike, you to make daily vlogs like you did in the summer of 2017 with Ben? No, 0% chance. I will not be making daily vlogs. But there is a happy medium between not posting and making daily vlogs. And I'm going to aim for that, what did Aristotle call it? The golden mean? I don't think it was the golden rule. It was in the middle, the center path away from either extreme. All right, why'd I stop posting? I didn't have to post. I didn't want to post. What is the game? Am I coming back? Am I making content? What are we doing? I need to erase this and I'll be right back. Something I completely forgot to mention in the work schedule and what I'm doing every single day. For basically all of 2021, and even some of 2020, I spent a couple hours a day writing my book as well. Writing a book is a real process, one that I didn't understand going into it, but that was another chunk of my day, energy depleted. Did I feel like making stuff? No, but we're gonna talk about that here as well. Okay, so after all that, why come back? I don't have to. I don't have to come back. I don't come back. It's so self-aggrandizing to say it in that way. I don't necessarily have to. I do want to. For a number of reasons that I'm gonna outline, I feel like making content at some frequency. First, I have a book coming out June 6th. It's called Eat It. I wrote it with my good friend Jordan Syatt. I could just lay in the weeds. I could blast the Mike's Macros email list with it. I could wait until the June 6th release date, make my first Instagram post the book and be like, hey, buy this book. I don't feel right about that. I would like to, at the very least, have a 2-month runway to try to give enough free and useful content in addition to what's in the book that you consider buying a copy. That I would be able to sleep at night knowing that I at least gave a little bit, create a reasonable amount of goodwill to ask. And by the way, if no one watching this video buys a copy of the book, I completely respect that. I didn't make any content for basically 2 years. Now I'm back and it's like, oh, and you want to sell us a book? Like, you're back with this video and you have a book coming out, Mike? Like, I would be so comfortable and so understanding of the fact that I generated 0 book sales. Goose egg. I'd understand if my mom was like, you didn't make content for 2 years, like you wrote a book, you expect me to buy this thing, you didn't give anything to like in return. However, part of the reason I'm coming back is because I don't just want to leave Jordan out to dry, and I want to at least pull a percentage of my weight at the very least. 2, even more importantly, I actually want to say stuff. I feel better about talking about burnout and talking about not feeling like I had anything to say and talking about feeling like I didn't have new ideas or that I didn't have a lot to contribute to the collective conversation. I don't feel like that right now. Probably over the last 2 months, anyone who's been listening to the How to Become a Personal Trainer podcast has heard me say like, yeah, I got the itch to make a YouTube video. I feel like I have things to say. YouTube video coming soon. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and I've been feeling a desire, kind of based on some content I've been consuming actually on TikTok and YouTube, but I've had a desire to start making things. Just got an itch, a little bit like that itch, slight nervous energy, but you feel like you should and you want to, euphoric, eustress kind of positive energy to do something. I have an idea for scalable revenue stream way out in the future. Earlier in this video, I talked about scalable versus non-scalable, how one-on-one coaching is not a scalable revenue stream. I do have an idea for a scalable revenue stream. I'm just telling you about it basically for full transparency. It's nowhere near, it's not months away. It might be years away. I don't know. But I have an idea, and that would require some frequency of content creation. So that's on the list of why am I even here? And why do I continue to make some stuff at some frequency? And lastly, I've known for a long time what having a consistent exercise regimen and reasonable nutrition guidelines, maintaining reasonable health standards, reasonable alcohol intake, reasonable sleep quantity and quality, reasonable micro and macronutrient distributions, reasonable amount of hydration. I'm saying reasonable because you don't need to be perfect on any of these. You don't need to cut out alcohol. You don't need to have optimal sleep every single night of your life. You don't need to have the perfect workout plan, the perfect nutrition plan. You don't need any of these optimally, but just a reasonable level of these things leads to an individual being healthier, all else equal. And I know enough of the literature on cancer, on heart disease, on stroke, on causes of death that lead to premature dying if that individual maybe had access to different information, maybe did something different in their life, maybe took a different turn, ends up living longer, ends up having better quality of life, ends up having longer duration lifespan. And I've known that for those reasons. COVID just cemented it. COVID, if you really look at the numbers and you break it out, if you look at health standards and markers, body fat percentage and BMI, and then you look at mortality rates, being healthier, all else equal, led to way, way, way better outcomes. And that lesson hit close to home in a way. And it's also just something that I fundamentally understand. And despite the fact that it's 2022 and there's so much more good evidence-based fitness information on the internet, on YouTube, on podcasts, on websites, research reviews all over the place, there's still so much bullshit. There's still so much bad information. Not only not useful health, fitness, workout, nutrition, training information, but bad. Physiologically, mentally, emotionally, habitually bad for the individual implementing the ideas that are being promoted by
people in accounts who have large followings. So there's a part of me seeing what's happening, feeling like I have something to contribute that can hopefully shepherd some of the people away from that and towards information and strategies and practices that are going to lead to your life being better, to you being healthier, to you being stronger, to you feeling better, to you moving better, to you being in less pain, to you hopefully having a longer and more fruitful life. And yeah, so these are what I think are the reasons why I'm standing here making this video right now, and why I plan on not waiting another 1.5 years to make more content, but instead having a little bit of a game plan here. So how much content am I committing to? Not a lot, because I would rather set proper expectations, and I would rather work out for 30 minutes 3 days a week before I committed to 1.5 hour workouts 5 days per week. 1 to 2 times a month here on YouTube, 1 to 2 videos a month on YouTube, and I'm not even sure if that's how you spell TikTok, to be honest, but playing around on TikTok. I haven't made a post yet. I'm going to, and be creating there. I'll be emailing and doing a little Instagram, whatever, Twitter, but these are going to be the places that I'm most interested in and plan on creating on those platforms the most. Okay, if you're still watching, if you're still listening, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you. I am going to be giving away a few, we'll call it 3 copies of my new book, Eat It, that's coming out June 6th. If you leave a comment below, here's what I want. Leave a comment below. I'm going to pick 3 comments, 3 for winners for a free book when it comes out. And I want you in your comment to tell me, what is your current workout regimen? You can leave as much or as little detail as you want in your comment, but I want to know what you're doing right now on the training front, on the cardio endurance front, on the whatever, mobility, nutrition. What are you doing right now? And if you aren't doing anything, if you're completely off it, if you haven't been to the gym in 6 months, if you haven't been in the gym in 10 years, say that in your comment. Say, Mike, I got to be honest. I haven't been getting after it. Here's why. Here's what's going on in my life. And maybe even here's what I plan to do, or here's a step I plan on taking to move in the right direction. Leave a comment like that, or a comment with what you're currently doing. And I know it's not easy to leave a comment like that publicly, but I would really appreciate seeing and hearing. So leave that comment. I'm going to pick 3 of them, and in the next video, I'm going to announce the 3 for free copies of Eat It. Yes. Thanks for watching. I will see you very soon.